What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I have something really cool that I'm excited to share with you. I've got some plastic gen battles today. That's right. I have the 5 main character Beyblades in their engine gear forms. So I've got Dragoon Galaxy. I've got Dronzer Gigs. My phone is not focusing on them. There we go. I've got Dronzer Gigs. Got Draceel Gravity. Gaia Dragoon Great. And Drigger Gatling, last but not least. Now, I have all of these Beyblades in engine gear form, and for those of you who don't know what an engine gear is, I'll explain it real quick. So this is an engine gear. This is effectively the core of your Beyblade. The attack ring goes on here, and this is effectively the tip. So what happens is you wind it up with one of these. You can also do it by hand, but I much prefer to use one of these. You wind it up, and there is a limit to it, but I'm not gonna go all the way with it just for showcase sake. And then there's a mechanism inside the blade base that hits this button mid-battle, or maybe at the beginning of the battle. Depends on which sort of blade base you're using, and I'll get into that as well. But it'll hit this button, and maybe it didn't wind up properly. These are very old pieces, very fragile. So there we go. I'm feeling a bit more resistance now. These, like I was saying, these are very old. They're very fragile. Sometimes they don't work properly, but mine are in pretty good condition for the most part. Anyway, like I was saying, something in the blade base will hit this button, and that will spin in whichever direction the Beyblade is spinning. So if it's right spin, like this one is, the gear will spin this way, so that, shoot. When it's inverted, it's spinning this way, so it's just adding more momentum to the Beyblade. Contrary to popular belief, this does not actually add spin power to the Beyblade, it's just movement, as far as I've been able to tell. The movement does help the Beyblade stay upright for a lot longer, or not a lot longer, but as long as it's spinning, it does help the Beyblade to stay upright. So I guess by that definition, it is assisting the spin, but it's not adding spin, if you know what I mean. Anyway, now to talk about the different types of blade bases. Dragoon and Drigger both have what's called a first clutch base. You don't have to do anything with the base, you just wind up the engine gear and you launch. And the first clutch will, at the beginning of the battle, activate the engine gear, and that will assist it in some, like start of the battle, really hard hits, because that's when it's going to be moving the fastest. Draceel Gravity and Gaia Dragoon Great both have final clutch bases, where you take these two tabs and you pull them out, and then after it hits a certain amount of spin, it will these will come back in, and the engine gear will activate. So it's like a last minute sort of burst of speed to help with maybe a last second attack if you haven't already knocked your opponent out, or to avoid that in Draceel's case, because it has a metal ball engine gear rather than a flat or a semi-flat. So this helps with just avoiding your opponent for a little bit. And lastly, Dronzer Gigs. This is my favorite, personally. It has a hit-release blade base. So you pull these two out, and then if it gets hit hard enough in the battle, they retract, and then the engine gear activates. All right, I'm going to be battling these 5 awesome Beyblades. Shoot, let me get them all in the stadium real quick. There we go. I'm going to be battling all 5 of these really awesome Beyblades, and that's going to be the video today. All right, the first match that I've randomly selected is going to be Drigger Gatling versus Dronzer Gigs. Let's get right into it. All right, these battles are going to be determined by a first to 2 points, so in 3, 2, 1... I'll admit I am a little worried for the durability of Drigger just because of how crazy its contact points are, but it seems to be doing pretty good. And Drigger takes the first point against Dronzer. 3, 2, 1. I really messed that launch up, but depending on how the battle goes, I might just keep that in the video. Winding up these engine gears is a hassle, so this to make this video is going to take a lot longer than it looks, because I'm not including all the all the engine gear windups. And Drigger still wins despite the launch being messed up. That might have something to do with how late I launched it, but whatever, I'll take it. All right, the next match I've selected is Gaia Dragoon Great versus Dronzer Gigs. Hopefully Dronzer can get a comeback, and what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to, after this, I'm going to run through the other two with Dronzer just to get it over with, and then move on to another one. 3, 2, 1... There goes Dronzer. Whoa! That looked like a draw, but Gaia Dragoon's engine gear just gave it a little boost at the end, so I think I'm going to give the point to Gaia. All right, next match. Hopefully Dronzer can get that comeback. 3, 2, 1. There goes Dronzer's engine gear. Gaia Dragoon's just kicked in. It's not doing too well, but Gaia Dragoon just completely knocked out Dronzer. All right. I know my camera isn't really picking up the pockets, but Dronzer, trust me, he's in there. So yeah, there you go. Gaia Dragoon wins. All right, next up, Dronzer's going to be up against Drasil Gravity. In 3, 2, 1. Dronzer's circling around a little bit. There we go, contact. Drasil's engine gear's going, and I think Dronzer's is too, yep. And Dronzer's starting to sleep out, man. It's off its game. But Dronzer takes the point there with a spin finish. Next match is starting to look up for Dronzer. 3, 2, 1. There goes Drasil's and Dronzer's engine gears. Around the same time. There we go. And Dronzer finally wins. There we go. 2 points against Drasil. All right, last match for Dronzer. We've got the original rivalry. It's going up against Dragoon. There we go. Dragoon's circling around. That first clutch engine gear. Kicking in right at the beginning, as it should. There goes Dronzer. Laying down some pretty good hits there. Got Dragoon sort of off balance, and it's a draw. All right. All right. Next match in 3, 2, 1. Whoa! All right. That's probably the quickest match we're going to see all day. Wow. Dude, Dronzer just like one shot knocked out Dragoon. It's just chilling in the pocket there. Oh my god. All right. That was sweet. Dronzer's engine gear didn't even have time to activate, and I don't think Dragoon's did either. All right, then. All right, next up in 3, 2, 1. Doesn't look like Dragoon's engine gear kicked in. That's an issue that I've been having sort of with it lately, is it just has difficulty activating for some reason. That looks like a point for Dragoon. Oh my god. All right, the score is 1 to 1. This will probably be the last match before I move on. 3, 2, 1. There we go. I heard... Okay, never mind. I heard a engine gear activate. I didn't know which one it was, but it turned out it was Dragoon, because Dronzer went in. Dronzer wins. All right, Dronzer wins 2 to 1. But as I was saying, that was weird. Dragoon's engine gear activated like mid-battle rather than at the beginning like it should. Huh. All right, so Dronzer lost to Drigger, lost to Gaia Dragoon, and then won against Dragoon and Drasil, giving it a 50% win rate, which is not all that flattering, especially when you consider that this is one of the coolest Beyblades, in my opinion. So there you have it. Next up is going to be Drasil versus Drigger. In 3, 2, 1. There There goes Drigger laying down some hits. And Drasil stands strong against it, though. But Drigger manages to destabilize and take the first point. 3, 2, 1. There goes Drasil before anything even happens. And Drigger destabilizes it to win again. 2 points Drigger, 0 Drasil. Next up is going to be Drasil against Gaia Dragoon. In 3, 2, 1. There they go. Engine gears are activated. That looks like a draw. I'm gonna say that's a draw. No point awarded. Gaia Dragoon had that really interesting movement at the end there, though. Had that like sort of sustained release on the engine gear rather than having it all go out at once, which I think helped it a lot. Next match in 3, 2, 1. Gaia Dragoon's circling around. Drasil activates its engine gear to come up and meet it for one big hit. Not really a big hit, but... And Gaia Dragoon wins definitively. Oh my lord. Really hoping I can see some of that same movement from the last battle. That was really cool, but 3, 2, 1... I don't even know what to say. I'm going to say that was Gaia Dragoon because, you know, it had that one little rotation at the end from the engine gear. But, yeah, there you have it. All right, the next matchup is going to be Drasil versus Dragoon. So far, Drasil doesn't have a very flattering win rate. It lost to Dronzer, Drigger, and Gaia Dragoon. So hopefully you can at least get a point against Dragoon here. 3, 2, 1... There we go. Once again, doesn't look like Dragoon's engine gear activated properly, but whatever. There goes Drasil's. Just sort of meeting in the middle now. Who will come out on top? I think that was Drasil. Just by a little bit, but that looks like a spin finish for Drasil. All right, now after that cosmically rare Drasil W, let's see if it can keep it up. 3, 2, 1... Once again, Dragoon is off its game with the engine gear activation. It was working just earlier. That's weird. Looks like Drasil managed to destabilize. Oh my god, not Dragoon, Drasil wins! Alright, that ends Drasil's legacy in this video, I believe. I think it's gone up against everything now. With a 25% win rate. Not very good. But the next match is going to be Drigger versus Gaia Dragoon. In 3, 2, 1. And there we go. There goes Drigger's engine gear. I kind of like Drigger's engine gear movement. I've noticed it sort of, when it goes to the top of the ridge of the stadium, it sort of stops. But, oh, okay, there we go. Drigger with a spin finish, 1 point. But like I was saying, it sort of goes, oh, shoot. It goes up in here, right, and it sort of stops. But when it comes down into the dip, it starts up again. Oh, my God, okay. There we go. Sorry, I leaned back and I sort of pulled on the wire to my ring light, which I have my phone propped up in. There we go. But when it goes into the dip, it sort of starts up again. I think that's really cool the way that works. Next match in 3, 2, 1. There, oh my lord. Drigger is pulling weight there. Oh my goodness. So Gaia Dragoon's in the pocket. Drigger wins with 2 points to nothing. All right, last match for Drigger. It's going up against Dragoon G in 3, 2, 1. Launched Drigger first just because it's had an impressive win rate so far. Dragoon's waiting in the middle for it. There we go. And once again, Drigger wins with a spin finish. These upper claws here, the way it's designed, because it has a little overhang on the attack ring, these upper slopes are really doing some work. All right, let's see if this is going to be Drigger's last match and make it a 100% win rate. As far as I remember, I think it's won against every other Beyblade here. So that'd be really impressive. In 3, 2, 1. And there goes Dragoon. Maybe Dragoon can put a stop to that. Who knows? No, it cannot. Drigger wins with a knockout, making it probably today's champion. As far as I know, I think it's too late for any of the other Beyblades to give themselves like an actual win rate, or at least change their win rate. So Drigger, with 100%, has soloed every other Engine Gear Beyblade here today. That's pretty cool. All right, our last match of the day is going to be Dragoon versus Gaia Dragoon. I didn't even do this on purpose. I did not wait for the end to do both Dragoons together, but whatever. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Gaia's circling around the outside. Dips in to hit. Oh. I thought I heard an Engine Gear activate there for a second. Maybe I was wrong. Nope, there it goes. I guess I'll count that as Gaia Dragoon. All right, could be the last match unless Dragoon steps its game up in 3, 2, 1. It sounded there like its engine gear was working. Finally, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Whoa, big hit there. And that just completely messed up Dragoon. Gaia Dragoon waits until the last moment to activate its engine gear and fucking emote on it. But there you have it. Those were my main 5 Engine Gear Beyblade battles. This is going to be a grueling video to edit, but I'm greatly looking forward to putting this out and hearing you guys' thoughts. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy this kind of content. You'll see more of it on your page, and it'll let me know to make more of it. Subscribe if you also want to see more of me. I mostly do unboxings, which I have plans to upload in the near future. But I do hope to do more battle videos as well. If you want to buy a Beyblade from me, I only have one on hand at the moment, but my eBay will be in the description. I think that's all I've got. Have a great day. Stay happy. Have a good one.